Alright guys, so as you just saw, I started with a clean surface, and now, let me get this thing working. There we go. Now you see all this sawdust right here, everywhere. And as soon as I turn the vacuum on, this piece right here started to fold like this. There was enough suction for it to fold, so that's not a good thing on this end. So what I'm going to do, I am going to build an enclosure for this miter saw, because I don't want the dust to be flying all over the place and covering everything in dust. And what I'm going to use, everybody uses plywood or whatever, so I'm going to go on the cheap route. And I'm going to use foam boards from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to build an enclosure with the foam board. I want to see if it's going to work, if it's actually going to do the job. In addition to the foam boards, I'm going to, I have to go grab it. I 3D printed this funnel for a table saw that I had that you guys already saw the video, the Craftsman one. So this was going to mount underneath, collect the dust. There was going to be a hose connected to this and, all that. But in this case, this is going to go here. So I'm going to cut an opening in that wood. This is going to stick in there. And I'm going to have a vacuum hooked up to it from the underneath, create that suction, and let the sawdust go into the vacuum cleaner. Or, the shop vac. So let's get started. Let's do some measurements. Let's cut out. Let's see what fits in here. And we'll go from there. And we'll start cutting and measuring and gluing and, all that fun stuff. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so this is where the miter saw is going to be sitting, its final resting place, and this is where the exhaust is going to, not the exhaust, the vacuum. So I'm actually going to cut a hole in here. This is going to sit in that hole, and I'm going to have a hose attached to this, so it'll suck out all the dust and whatever it's going to be flying out in the enclosure. Now I made a hole in here because this is the limit as far corner I can go, because there's like some steel metal here that it's holding this platform in place. So anything beyond this is going to be basically the hole. I'm going to punch a hole in here. Basically it's going to be a rectangle shape for this, which is, let's measure it, I believe about 6 inches wide, a little bit more than 6 inches wide, or length, 6 by 8, that's the opening. So 6 by 8 is the opening, so I'm gonna draw out 6 by 8 in here. I'm gonna drill a hole, get my jigsaw, and cut it out, and go from there. So stay tuned. Alright, this is a perfect fit. And as you can see, everything in woodworking makes just dust. Everything is dust. Dust flies everywhere, no matter what tool you use, except the handsaw. It makes sawdust to the floor. But yeah, so this fits, and we're gonna go to the next step. I'm gonna attach a hose to this. I have a small hose that I'm gonna use, and basically that's gonna attach to the shop vac, and trying to figure out where to have the connection come out. But that all depends on anybody else's shop setting. So mine is going to be a little bit different. So let's see how I'm going to pull this one out. But it's going to be somewhere that I'm going to have easy access to, so I can connect my shop vac to it, which I'll show you guys. But let's move to the next step, which is the cover that's going to go over here. So I'm going to show you guys that next. Alright guys, so I'm going to start cutting this up. The measurements for my setup is going to be, this is exactly 30 inches tall. So this is how high it's going to sit. I don't know if you guys can see in the camera, but this is 30 inches tall. Also, it's I needed about 30 inches wide. This is exactly the same size of the base of my saw. So because I do push my saw in and out, so it'll be kind of out of the way on the counter. So it's 30 inches across is the best size that will fit my my miter saw. So since these are about 15 inches across. Actually, let me double check. I think they're either 15 inches or 20 inches. They are actually, good thing I have a measuring tape here. 58, yeah, so 20 inches. So what I need a 10-inch piece. I'm going to cut it across, and I'm going to add that 10 piece to another 20 piece, so it'll be a 30-inch across. I know most of you guys are like, so why don't you do it like this and have another 10 piece? That's exactly what I'm going to. You can either do that or do it this way and have one piece on this side or this side. Doesn't matter. However you're going to do it, it should work just fine. So, and I'm just not going to use wood only because it's heavy. And if I need to move it, for whatever reason I need to move it, I'll be able to just lift it up, take it away, do what I need to do, then put it back where it needs to be. So, and plus, you know, this is about I don't know, about $8 worth of foam board. So if I mess this up, I'm not gonna cry or be upset. Where wood is the price of wood. Price of gold. So if I mess up the wood part, I would be pretty pissed off. So let's get into this. Let's make this. Let's see how it's gonna work out, guys. I'm curious myself as well. So I'm gonna cut these out to size. I'm gonna glue them into a box shape, and then I'm gonna get into like the front area where I don't want the sawdust to blow out. Then I'm gonna show you guys what I'm gonna. I have an idea. It might work. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna try it out. So stick with me, guys. I'm gonna cut these, make a box, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, I was filming and my camera kind of died, but so I finished gluing all this stuff. I also make some extra strips that they call they're in like almost a V shape for the corner pieces, so I could glue all the corners together. So, for example, this is the back piece. This is one of the side piece. This is where the top is going to be, or the roof, or what have you. And so I cut out these pieces. They basically go back here like this to support the other piece, or like right here I have to cut it to size, so it's going to be like this. Let me see if I could show you guys real quick. So it's going to sit like this, right, like so. I have to cut it into a smaller piece. So and then I'm going to put everything, I'm going to glue everything one by one. And what I'm using now is, I used crazy glue, but holy crap, I went through a single tube just for one strip. So, I showed you guys in the video, I'm using wood glue. Wood glue works perfect. It's actually strong, it holds the paper, and it should work just fine for what we're doing. We're not doing any heavy lifting. This is not going to be under stress. This is not going to have any heavy objects sitting on it or being pulled down anyway. So it's just literally just an enclosure to keep the dust away. So I'm going to finish this. I'm going to put all the corners in. And then I'm going to come back. I'm going to show you guys all around it, so I don't bore you with all the gluing and all that stuff. A lot of people like to show the gluing, but it's very simple. You put this here, you glue it, you put glue, and voila, you have adhesion. So now these pieces are 23 inches long each and 30 inches. But that's for my size. You guys have to check your own sizing, what is going to be for your own application, because I have a 12-inch miter saw, so it does have a larger base. I know you guys are probably just seeing my hand and not myself. So here we go. So I have a 12-inch miter saw, so I do have a larger base. You might have a 10-inch one, has a smaller base. You might have a different style miter saw that you would not need something this deep. Mine is on a track system, so it does have a deep motion. I know Bosch makes the one that doesn't have, that's not on a track system. They're on a I believe pivot system. It's cool. I kind of like it. I'm looking into this, but I don't need to spend $700-800 on a miter saw. The one that I got from Harbor Freight, it's the Hercules brand, and it was like $350, and it's equivalent to the DeWalt. I don't know, they're $800-900 model, whatever. I'm a DIYer. I'm not a construction worker guy, so I don't have to use and abuse my machines every day. So for that, I don't need to spend the money. So I'm a bargain shopper, I guess. So let me go finish this up. I'll be right back. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. If my shirt changes, that means it's the next day. I got kids, so I only get like limited amount of time to work on projects. An hour here, 2 hours there, So, I'll be juggling between the family and the project. So, they're more important than these small projects. So, I'll be right back. Alright guys, so this is the enclosure. This is how it's gonna sit. Now I'm gonna put the saw in here. Let's see how the saw is gonna sit with the enclosure. Hopefully everything fits. And we'll go to the last and final step, which is the secondary cover so the dust doesn't blow back in our face. Alright, so the saw sits and fits fine, and when I'm done, what I usually do is push the saw back all the way so it's not in the way. So this part, it's here, and the height of it, it's perfect. But when I use the saw, I'm going to pull it out to just about here. So this way, when I'm cutting stuff, because this one slides back, so it touches this a little bit. I'm not really too concerned. Maybe I could push this back just a hair. There we go. Let's see. And worst case scenario, I just pull the saw forward a little bit, and that solves the problem. And this way, I don't have to cut anything. So everything's set in place. Now, I need to build something here. So let me move the camera up a little bit. So I need to build something here to cover the blowback. And what I found out, instead of putting another hard piece in here, I am going to use see if you guys can see it, a drawer liner. So this is flexible stuff, and it should give me the what's the word I'm looking for? The flexibility to have some sort of cover here, to go around the handle, to go around this, and not being a hard, like a hard piece. So when I push this back, it will just go back. So it's not a fixed item. So this area will not be fully exposed. I'll still push it back, and it'll be. I'm hoping it'll work, but we don't know until we try, right? So we have to try and see if this is gonna work. So I'm gonna try to have two pieces, one here and one here, go down. Then I'm gonna cut it to shape, and hopefully, it'll serve its purpose. So let's see if that's gonna work.
Left-leaning sites like Consortium and Truthout, the leftist South American channel Telesur, the Yellow Vest movement, that in fact is a key point of the Twitter files, that it's neither a left nor right issue. Following the trail of communications between Twitter and the federal government across tens of thousands of emails led to a series of revelations. Mr. Chairman, we summarized and submitted them to the committee in the form of a new Twitter files thread, which was also released to the public this morning. We learned Twitter, Facebook, Google, and other companies developed a formal system for taking in moderation requests from every corner of government, from the FBI, the DHS, the HHS, DOD, the Global Engagement Center at State, even the CIA. For every government agency on Twitter, there were perhaps 20 quasi-private entities doing the same thing, including Stanford's Election Integrity Partnership, NewsGuard, the Global Disinformation Index, and many others, many taxpayer-funded. A focus of this fast-growing network, as Mike noted, is making lists of people whose opinions, beliefs, associations, or sympathies are deemed misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation.
Okay, guys, I just wanted to show how I'm doing the mock-up here. So I have little clips here. So I clipped the liner here, and I just went on with the razor and just cut around. And what I'm doing is I'm actually testing, when I bring this down, bring the saw down, to see if where it's gonna get stuck, if the blade's gonna be anywhere near the liner, and also where the liner is gonna sit. I want the liner to sit as close to the fence as possible. So, you know, of course we're gonna have dust. Of course we're gonna have, you know, mess all over the place. Yeah, I'm gonna move the camera a little bit. We're gonna have dust coming out over here. We're gonna have dust coming out over here. We're gonna have dust everywhere. So this is just one way to control it to a certain point. We're never gonna be able to eliminate the dust. This is just to control the whole situation, you know, with the budget built. You know, I'm not gonna spend $100 on a hood that's gonna take up the entire shed or the workshop. I'm not gonna spend another $60 on a sheet of plywood that's gonna weigh 1,000 pounds. I want something that's gonna be, you know, easily removable. And these boards work fine, but we have to put it to a test. So what I do is I went around, I used the razor, I cut it around. I'm gonna trim down here, and I'm gonna do the same thing here. But here, let me move the camera up again. Sorry about that, guys. But over here, it's the handle. So we're gonna have a lot of particles blowing back. What I'm gonna cut it in a way that is gonna have like a little piece go all the way down here. It's gonna be cut to this. So you're gonna have a part that just sits here, and you're gonna have a part that sits here. So it's gonna be shaped in a certain way that, you know, I'm gonna try to cover as much of this as possible, like right here. And, you know, who knows? It might work, it might not work. So, so we'll see. We'll see. So. That's how you lose a finger. Don't ever do what I just did. Whoa. Look at that. Huh. Oh crap, it even turned on my it turned on my drill press. Holy shit. Alright. So saw safety number 1. Don't do what I just did. It was a very short piece. I was held in by my hand, and it flew off, and it hit my drill press. Let me show you guys right there. It literally kicked this on and flew somewhere. I didn't cut my finger, thank God, everything's good. But yes, so holy mackerel, it literally cut through this here. Alright, so I'm done for tonight, but before I go, I'm going to show you guys the mock-up right here. Let me disconnect this hose down here. This is what happens when you're tired and 10 o'clock at night and filming and trying to... Oh! Oh my gosh, I didn't even see this! Holy crap! Look at this! A piece of wood is stuck. Oh my God! Let me see if I could get this focused. Holy mother! Wow! Look, it ripped this whole thing. I wonder if it damaged my blade. I don't think it damaged my blade, but I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna unplug this thing. All right, no missing teeth. Good. So, all right. So, yes. This is why we filmed this whole thing, guys. All right. So besides this little hole that I need to patch right here, look at that, holy mother. I just used crazy glue. I don't know if it worked as good as I thought it was gonna work, because there was still dust being kicked out. So I'm not really too happy with it, because there was a lot of fine dust being kicked out. But the truth will be in the pudding. Let me take this off. I want to see how much dust is back there from the cuts. So here, let me bring the camera closer to you guys so you guys can see the situation here. This was all cleaned. Here, let me get the camera. So alright, so all that was clean. So now there's like dust particles all over the place, right? And here's the hole. Alright, so how I did this was, if you guys can see, everything's tucked in here. Get this focused. Sorry about the camera, guys. I'm trying my best here. So I tucked it in here. I cut it off a little bit right there. So it's gonna come down here, all the way down. So that's where it's gonna be. And if you see all that shavings and all that stuff. So let's remove the hood. Let's see what's in the back. I guess it wasn't that bad. It contained it in the box, and we're always gonna have a little blowback. We're always gonna have some fine dust flying around. So what was flying around out was fine dust. So I guess it worked. I'm gonna do a couple of more tests and see. And by the way, I didn't hook anything up here to that, because the pressure from the vacuum itself was causing the lip right here. If you guys saw from the early video, this was the pressure was making this pinch like this, so nothing was being sucked up. So alright, here we go. But yeah, I'm glad I caught my mistake on video, because nobody wants this to be flying around. Oh, that was scary. I have to admit, I got very scared. So anyways, I'll be back to finish this off. Alright guys, so since the wood flying, and I saw that, you know, I was still getting a lot of blowback, so I decided to add an additional hose for the extractor right there, which goes through there into a little Y splitter, which is a PVC. And I know it's a ghetto zip tie hanging piece, which I'm gonna fix, but for now it's gonna have to hang until I find a permanent solution for it. So that's my 3D printed cone, and it comes out and connects to the hose right here. And I'm gonna run it through a test to see how much of a difference this is gonna make. I don't know if it's gonna make that much of a difference, because realistically, guys, these things create so much wind as it's cutting and as it's making the dust. You know, I don't think an act of God will actually, you know, control the dust created by miter saws. So, and the good thing is this is so this kind of goes back and forth with it like that. So it creates enough suction that doesn't make this collapse. If you guys remember when I made the first in the beginning, this thing would pinch like this as I turn the vacuum on. So if I'm going to turn the vacuum on now, you see, it doesn't pinch, but it does have a good suction. So it creates a good suction, but it doesn't pinch this. So I'm going to put the hood back on. I'm going to run another test, make a few cuts, and see if it's going to have blowbacks. I'm going to kind of clear off the dust, vacuum up the dust, and do another run. So stay tuned. Alright, so much less dust around this area. Much less. I still have fine dust flying out. There's nothing I could do about the fine dust. It's gonna fly out no matter what we do. There's nothing that we can actually do to actually control that fine dust flying out, and that's just the reality of it. But if you see right there, this was before I put the vacuum port to the actual saw. This is how much dust was being pushed out from this whole contraption. But now I only have like fine dust like this flying out, which is not bad, as expected. Here, as you can see, fine dust. But important part is, let's see what's in the back of this contraption. Let's see if this was a good design, bad design, mediocre design. I know it looks cheap, but this is I'm gonna try to keep this as is right now. Then I'm gonna possibly move to a little bit harder material than, you know, foam boards. I just want to see if this is gonna work, because I could reuse these anyways. I could just rip them out and use them on the harder material. But the whole point is, if I'm gonna be able to move this out like this with one hand, and look, that's all I have to do if I want to go back and clean it. So this is the back. This is how much dust it created from 4 cuts. Not bad. Honestly, it's not that bad. It was worse. It was worse without having this, because you have the dust flying out from here, you know, creating this whole turbulence inside the box, and, you know, not really going into that chute. But it seems to work. It seems to be working. I don't know. Tell me what you think, guys. Tell me if this is a good design or a bad design. Let me know if I should redo it, if I should come up with a different design. But it seems to be functioning just fine. I don't see a problem with it. I'm just gonna tighten it up, and pretty much that's it. I don't think I need to do anything else to it. I think it's gonna hold up fine. It just needs to, you know, find a better solution for it hanging like that. But yeah. So let me know what you think.